This is RAMCCALL here. Now, welcome to my journey to $1 million in monthly revenue for my business. For those of you that don't know, in my previous videos, I've sort of documented my thought process behind this channel and this whole sort of journey, if you will, as well as document in great detail one of my websites and the inception of it, and the fact that I have been publishing about 100 articles per month as of right now, up to a total of about, I believe, 300, give or take, articles on that one website. The website has grown substantially since its inception back in June, and since the inception of me front-loading a lot of my content back in October or so. Now, with all that being said, I do have a surprise announcement throughout the course of this video, but for those of you that want to know now, I'm going to be introducing a second website that I had actually created about a month before the initial website, and it's actually starting to experience its hockey stick growth, which is why I wanted to bring it into this case study. And I also have other reasons to bring it in that I'll be sharing with you throughout the presentation. So as far as inspiration goes, I want to try and give credits to people that have really helped me out and kind of give back to them and the SEO community at large, because as far as I can tell, this is a fantastic way to make money passively online and really just kind of help you get towards financial independence and freedom overall. So first off, the guy that I think really sort of set me off and really helped me out to begin with was a guy named Passive Income Geek. Specifically in real life, his name's Morton, and he's a really nice, humble, and genuine guy. But a lot of what he preaches is writing about underserved topics. Basically, wherever you see a forum post online, whatever search phrase generated that, then feel free to just write an article about it. Of course, keeping in with the bounds of your overall niche and whatnot, but just write about that underserved topic, scale it up, and then generate a passive income through ads on your website through those means. The second guy, below average blogger, he's pretty cool. He's real, sort of modest as well. That's what I like about a lot of these guys. I mean, they all just sort of like nonchalantly just talk about all this money they're making online, and honestly, it's not really even about the money, but I just find it very fascinating that everyone, it's more than that. It's like kind of a community, and it's kind of like a game. Like we're all trying to sort of just finesse these little websites and see how many page views we can get and how much EPMV and earnings per 1,000 visitors we can make, stuff like that. But anyways, I'll stop going on a tangent. So anyways, below average blogger, he's a really cool guy. Didn't really have any further experience with blogs or anything like that, but was able to build up a little sizable portfolio of websites, a couple of which now have been doing extremely well, generating well over $1,000 and $2,000 a month. And I'm really excited to see where his channel will go and overall, what his little business is going to turn into going into the future. Passive Income Unlocked. These guys are awesome. They have about 5 or 6 different websites. Cumulatively, I think they generate now almost $50,000 a month as of the end of 2021, which to me is just pretty incredible. And then semi-lastly, Growth Scatter. I would say this guy is kind of insane, but only because he sort of dumped about $40,000 into one website project. And honestly, you should check out his channel because what he did worked, and the principles that he followed were all those strictly from Passive Income Geek. Basically finding underserved topics and scaling that up into a giant little website with over like 2,000 posts on it. And over time, 8 months later, Growth Scatter is earning about $20,000 a month as of right now. And then lastly, I decided to add another guy that I've been following, Sean Mars. He's real cool. I've been talking to him on the YouTube chat, and he's actually documenting day by day him being in the trenches, sort of just his little journey, what he does, and he's actually building out a little website now, sort of following the same approach that Growth Scatter did. and is trying to build a website with a valuation of about $1 million. So if you're interested in other little case studies, honestly, I mean, the last 4 of these guys, aside from Passive Income Geek, all have little case studies going on right now, and it's really interesting. So getting down to what this whole thing's about. My first website, or the initial website for this channel, because I do have a whole portfolio of websites beyond just this one, but the initial website that I made, that I started front-loading about 100 articles per month in October of 2021, and as of recording this video, it's technically December, or basically the end of the year. It's up month over month, and this is just a quick snapshot of the page view count for the month of December. It is right almost at around 6,000, and it's up from about lower end of 4,000 of last month. Growth is steady. Average time on page is steady as well, and I'm really excited to see kind of where this one sort of lands. And as far as like the Google Search Console, you can see that the impressions as well as the clicks are slowly but surely starting to rise. And actually, just this past week, because I am recording this sort of like the first week of January, the impressions and clicks seem to have increased some as well. So hopefully it can kind of continue this little expedited hockey stick growth, if you will. And as far as the month over month performance goes, the impressions are up, total clicks are up, click-through rate is up, as well as the average position. And that's a pretty good sign that I don't think that Google Analytics can really tell you outside of just the page views. What Google Search Console can really tell you is that, okay, you can not only really look at aggregately like the page views, if you will, but you can also look at the overall impressions and see how many eyes are seeing your page or your pages in the search results. And then also you can even measure like more advanced things like the average position. So how close is it up to number 1 position in the search results. And then the click-through rate is basically how many people are seeing those and then clicking on them, known as the click-through rate. So you want that really as high as possible. And the fact that everything across the board is going up, hey, I'm happy. As far as revenue goes, I was able to put the site onto Ezoic, and I had some issues initially with Ezoic, in the sense that I just wasn't able to take the final test. I don't know what the deal was. I reached out to support, kind of got spun around for a little bit, and then I was finally somehow able to get access to the course, the final course, because they make you take like some course to get on a Ezoic. Anyways, I was able to get on at the beginning of December, and I was able to generate about $40 in revenue for the month of December. EPMV, meaning however many dollars per 1,000 visitors that I earned, was around $9. That to me is very low. I'm aiming for at least about a $15 EPMV or higher for this website in particular. Now, one of the reasons why I suspect the EPMV for this month was still a little low was because I was transitioning from having a lot of my U.S. traffic be from less than half of the total traffic to now more than half of the traffic. And a way I did that, for those of you that are curious, is I basically just put a firewall rule in on my content delivery network provider, and basically denied all IP addresses or all countries or geos, and then whitelisted specifically the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. So I'm hoping over the next few months and really over the next year that this traffic will sort of redistribute in the right way, meaning that the majority of the traffic will be spawned out of primarily the US, because that's where all the advertisers are located, meaning the more page views you can generate, because page views are nice and all, but more page views that you can generate from the US in particular, the more money you're going to make per 1,000 page views. And that's really the overall goal. Now, sort of touching on the new website that I had mentioned at the start of this video, As you can see, the page views are substantially more than the initial website that I brought on to you guys within this channel, under RAMCCALL. And one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring this channel up, or this website up, is that number one, it's experiencing its hockey stick growth. And as you can see, it was really sort of created, like the website itself, in terms of the content. I didn't really start cranking out content on this website in particular until probably about May. And I was sort of fumbling around with the keyword research at the time, and I didn't really take it too seriously, but sort of around like the middle of summer, I would say, is when things really started to pick up. Keyword research was getting a lot better in accordance with what Passive Income Geek has taught, the underserved topics. And slowly but surely, the traffic started to increase. And then lately, this past month, it really started to increase to almost 2,000 page views in a single day, which is pretty cool. Google Search Console. So it's pretty similar to the initial website that I presented on this channel. Only thing that is slightly different is the click-through rate. It's about twice as much, meaning twice as many people are actually clicking on the websites in the search results than the other website that I was showing you guys. So I just find that kind of interesting, because I guess in different niches, people are more inclined to look at, I guess, results in the SERPs more than others, and then in other niches or something, because the structure of the titles for both websites are pretty much the same. So the only variance I could see in terms of the titles is the topics or the niches. So I don't really think that's anything that is within my control, so I'm not going to worry about it. As far as like revenue goes, the site did earn about $178 within the month of December, which is obviously a lot more than the other website, just strictly because of the page views. The RPM, which is similar to the EPMV on Ezoic, was pretty much the same at about $9, but the difference is that this is on Google AdSense. So I would anticipate this website to have a substantially larger EPMV on Ezoic or other premium ad networks like Mediavine or AdThrive or something like that. One of the reasons why, the second reason why I'm bringing this website into the fold is to kind of showcase the power of the traffic location. And I really don't think that's emphasized enough in a lot of videos I see online. I mean, a lot of people will just say, yeah, just get page views and then you can put it on Mediavine or AdThrive, but they don't really mention, well, yeah, but these ad networks really only accept premium tier traffic from the US and others. So if you're going into a niche, sort of like maybe throw a couple of test articles on, get them ranked, and then sort of see where the traffic's coming from for yourself, because that's going to really give you the greatest inclination, in my opinion, as to where the traffic's actually coming from, not just from some tool or from some like guru out there, but actually like your own data, and kind of learn how to reassess your strategy so you can make the best course of action going forward. And that is also why I think I'm going to be diverting a lot of my revenue or my expenses every month in terms of capital and like sweat equity, because I do write quite a bit of articles myself into this website in particular, because as you can see, the US traffic is about more than 90% for the entirety of the website. So it has more page views. Honestly, the content really isn't that hard to write because I know all about it. I'm from the US, and it's going to be generating, in my opinion, a lot more dollars per 1,000 visitors, which is hopefully what's going to happen. And a quick recap as well on the methods used. You really want to find underserved topics. So like a good way to do that, of course, is going through the people also ask. So if you just go to google.com, search something like yoga mats, then you'll get to if you scroll down like to the top of the page, you should see that people also ask, and you should see like a list of related questions to the overall query. And in my opinion, those are really good targets for subheadings for the query, which I would recommend to be the title. So good recap of that is to, in this case, use yoga mats as the title, and then for the people who also ask, use all 4 of those bullet points as little H2 subheadings in your article, and then do that for every search phrase, like yoga mats. If you type that in, find an underserved topic that generates forum posts or others, or other titles that aren't necessarily related to what you typed in. That's an underserved topic. Write about it, and then use the people also ask, as well as the Google autocomplete suggestions as your subheadings. And that's honestly, outside of like finding these underserved topics, I mean, that's really about it in terms of scaling up a website. Just do that in your articles, write about it, outsource it, write it yourself, do whatever you need to do. But find the underserved topics, include all the necessary subheadings, and scale that up into a business. And that's really all it takes. Now, speaking of scaling things up, it's time to think big. So, since this whole little like journey is about me trying to get to this $1 million in monthly revenue for the overall venture, I decided to kind of run some numbers to see really how feasible that is, assuming like some either conservative or maybe above average estimates, but really just to test the overall feasibility of this whole little project I have going on. So there's about 4 different assumptions you have to make for any website, in my opinion. First of which is the EPMV. And that comes up all the time. You listen to anyone on YouTube, everyone talks about how much you're going to be paid per 1,000 visitors. So the average that I've seen for US traffic is about $30. And I've actually seen EPMVs quite a bit more than this, but I guess using a slightly above average EPMV, let's just assume $30. And then as far as how many page views per article, so since you're going to be scaling it up, you're going to want to know, like, okay, how many, like, what kind of traffic am I going to get? And a good estimation that I've found is 350 page views. Some articles are going to do really bad. Some are going to do about that amount. Some are going to do way better. But hopefully, since this is considered an average, in the aggregate, a lot of these page view counts will actually be rendered to around 350 page views per article. So that's just kind of an estimation going forward. And then the last 2 assumptions, in my opinion, aren't really as important, but good to have on here, is the valuation metric. And what you want to do is kind of give a conservative valuation metric, meaning take your monthly revenue, multiply it by that metric, in this case 40, and that's going to be how much you can possibly liquidate your business for, or your portfolio, or your particular website. So that's pretty eye-opening when you think about making $1 million a month, because let's look on the bottom of the screen. Let's say you're generating the monthly revenue of about $1 million a month. Multiply that by 40, that's like basically $40 million a month, or in total, to liquidate everything. That to me is pretty eye-opening, and is frankly pretty incredible, considering a lot of it's just a matter of scaling it out, thinking big, taking the right strategy, and then executing on it. Now, only thing I can think that can sort of present some hiccups is the fact that you actually have to have over 100,000 blog posts to accomplish that, assuming 350 page views per article at a $30 APMV. But I think I don't know. I think that once you get to that level, then scaling things out is going to be I don't know. I think once you get to that level, making $1 million a month, then scaling things out is going to be pretty easy in a way, because you can just frankly just outsource, build some internal systems for your business, maybe hire in-house, delegate certain processes and whatnot. And then as you sort of learn the trade and or the craft of scaling and scalability for your business, because that is an art, not everyone has that innate ability, in my opinion, from my experience. But if you're able to kind of figure out how to build those internal processes to scale things out for your business, identify common themes, scale it out, automate it, do whatever you can, then I think 100,000 page or posts is feasible, especially if you have multiple websites like I'm starting to build right now, or in other words, like a portfolio of websites. And then last but not least, the potential expense for the overall portfolio. So currently I'm spending about 3 cents a word, which equates to around $25 for the total article. That's equating to about 700 to a 900 word article word count. In total, that's about, if you're doing about 100 articles at that amount, it's about $2,500 per batch. But as you can see, like to get to the $1 million in potential revenue per month, that's going to cost about $2.5 million, about, give or take. But if you take a step back and realize that the $1 million is just 1 month and it only costs $2.5 million, so basically 2 months worth of revenue generating at that $1 million mark, then you technically have $10 million for the entire year to basically reinvest back into the business if you wanted, and potentially build the net portfolio valuation up to maybe like 100 million or something, assuming you're actually able to invest every single penny of that $12 million a year, assuming a $1 million monthly revenue. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of bring this to y'all's attention because if you're in the business of thinking big and like actually want to do something with this business model, then this is kind of what it looks like. So coming back to reality, website stats. So for reference, I'm going to be using website 1 as the new website and website 2 as the initial website for this channel. So what that looks like is website 1 started off the I guess fall semester, if you will, around Halloween. It was at about 157 articles, about 2,300 page views, and now sitting here at the end of the year, only about 2 months later, it's almost at 20,000 page views, and really only about less than 100 articles since then. Of course, since you guys know, I've been adding about 100 articles a month on the website number 2 for a total article count end of the year of about 549, and page view count for the last month in December was over 25,000. So it went from basically 3,000 page views from Halloween, and then by the end of the year, 2 months later, it was almost at 30,000 page views. To me, that's pretty insane. So hopefully things kind of continue on this trajectory. And like I said, I'm going to try and divert a lot of my attention going forward to website number 1, because that's where the primo traffic is being generated from, as opposed to website 2. So I believe that if I were to scale up website 1 more so than website 2 now, not only will I gain more market share in the form of page views, because I am getting a heck of a lot more page views as it stands, but I think the EPMV and really just how much I'm making in general is going to be quite a bit more. I'm not going to give up on website 2. I'm still going to be front loading a lot of content onto it, but I think for the foreseeable future, I'm definitely going to be focusing on website 1 and trying to build that up to at least 1,000 posts by the end of 2022. Just kind of see where that takes me. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know what you guys want to see in the next ones. And until then, I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.